A very good morning to one and all. Our work actually, measurement of effect of music on human brain and consequent impact on attentiveness and concentration during reading. This is the base work, groundworks. It was published in Elsevier Science. As it is evident, I mean, just a minute. Here is the Elsevier Science work, as you can see. Is it visible, the work publications at Science Direct? It's open access, anyone can download this also. And present work is actually an extension that is measuring recorded effect of sound wave on human brain through music pattern recognition using digital signal processing. Means what we did on the last occasion, I mean, there is an extension that is digital signal processing, know-how, parametric analysis, data science to some extent. Now, at the outset, we have a few things to convey. That is, why music? It's an universal language that controls the human hearts and minds. What's the purpose of incorporating music into this technological framework? Therapeutic cause, for sure. How? Any living human being is always in a state of vibration. Every human being has its own unique state of vibration. Any disease, physical or mental, psychological, is actually a deviation from the original state of vibration. As we know, music controls the secretion of various glands, creating sound waves. The idea here is to employ appropriate music to generate sound waves on human being to restore the original state of vibrations. That's the main agenda. And it is not restricted to human being only. As we know, music therapy is established as a, very trusted and tested mechanism, even in milk production of Jersey cows or paddy field productions. So it's proven. And our research is not in the music. Using music, how can we effectively employ it in therapeutic cause through technological framework? That's we are going to present. It's entirely under the framework of machine intelligence using digital signal processing. So here, this is how we planned our entire presentation. Abstract introduction, it's readable. And meanwhile, I guess we have all read it. So here is the original work's objective: to measure the effect of sound wave music samples on human brain. The idea is to discover some interesting measures from the recorded image base, that is MRI, CT scan. Here I take a little bit more time to, explain further. Appending that outset discussion that we did. That is, we actually in this work, if we summarize, try to at the very beginning, we tried to take care of three different verticals. One is the kind of music we use. We'll try to analyze that through its parameters and performance indicators. Number one. Second is through magnetic resonance imaging and computed tomography, we'll try to find what is going on in the human brain. Pure analysis, analytics is a better word to say. Right? We get to, and third is a physical feedback of the human brain, who is being tested under a training test mechanism for therapeutic reason, or maybe relaxation, recreation. And therapeutic means mainly obsession, depression, compulsion, that category. What is his or her physical feedback? So in this tripartite correlation, combination, coordination, we try to identify uh, I mean, how much effective that particular music is to treat one human being. Right. So this is the main agenda. So now we'll explain each and every component as mentioned in the right side column. Right. We employ magnetic resonance imaging CT scan. In the model formulation of the problem, we correspond with metadata of music sample. Music spectrum are analyzed through digital signal processing. System initially employs generate and test mechanism as we know, measure impact on small population of human beings, and then trends are analyzed through data mining, knowledge discovery in database. In the solution process, the system is tested with the similar song type and the text contents on different human beings. Evaluation assessment of reading content of various human beings with or without background music are put under a comparative study. Yeah, there are limitations, right? If the physical feedback of the human being uh, is, own perceived attention level, because like music attracts, but you need to choose the right kind of music. Not all people fond of all kind of music, so choosing appropriate kind of music is very essential in this particular world. Motivation we already have told, right? We have our earlier developed worked on cognitive systems that can treat patient on non-surgical category. It is patented, and published patent, and FER report is also found, right, on the verge of grant. Successful application of our proposal may very much open utilizing music for therapeutic cause in a steady state basis, and different kind of technology we here propose. And here the present work is an extension work to the earlier work, as we already have told. Here are some very brief literature survey, right? Because of time restriction, we cannot go for exhaustive. That is, in fact, in the I already have shown you the paper there. All the references are available. Anyway, so Savan's work for Mozart music has a great impact on concentration level we found, followed by Cribe, Gregory, Riordan, and Bell. So these are some of the prerequisite works that is here. And now we have some interesting measures like manual assembly task and later matching task conclude in the improvement of 70% and 18% of 17 and 18% of concentration level. So our idea, to which it is an extension, there is how much music impacts on the concentration level, right? Very much on work of educational technology also concurrent too. So there we found these interesting measures, right? And when we talk about here, we come to the structure of the main work, because technological presentation is what is our objective, right? When we claim that we are doing magnetic resonance imaging or CT scan and try to get the brain images, analyze it, and then match with the music component parameters and performance indicators. Here comes how the brain is induced, what is the attention level, how much the person is fond of the music. That's a work of pattern recognition that is still under investigation. However, the thing is, we know the human brain biological framework, how it works in a standard human brain, 10 to the power 11 around the neurons and 10 to the power 14 various interconnectivities, right? And if you say how this training test mechanism is carried out, we'll later introduce it entirely using neural networks. So here are some brief details, futuristic detailed facts about human brain, because magnetic resonance imaging and computer topography is entirely depending on uh, I mean, entirely upon human brain. So we need to understand its facts and figures. Here, how the process of induction, right? We enter into methodological aspects and how is the process of induction that we present here. Initial state of human brain before we scan it or before we expose it to musics, and then we capture all those image bases. Lastly, we'll produce our experimental results. And here, those images are stored in the image base, enlisting the time and other parameters, performance indicators, as we already have told. So this is a figure corresponding to the pre-induction image, sequence of images, moment before initializing. Then here is actually a pictorial representation how the things take shapes, right? It's capturing music induced brain images with metadata, various music sample we play. Actually the idea is we need to play them in order to seriously improve the state of mind or body, whatever. We need to identify appropriate kind of music, that is pattern recognition, right? So with xyz music we can test, right? We'll get the test result and corresponding factor and then physical feedback. So this is how the human brain is getting gradually induced, right? And in the above record is maintained in music domain, various music type we have tested, because from the age group to age group there are several factors like age group variation, gender variations, choice of music from classical, modern, pop, folk, etc. changes, right? There are vocal instrumental classification as well, tone classification as well, like mono or poly, right? So these are the features that we need to very much taken into consideration for induction process. Now, discretization of sound waves in small time span are very essential to capture generalization and right judgment about attentiveness. Now, here's the neural network that we employ, in order to understand the induction level, right? As we all know, the basic formula of net learning, this training test mechanism to be very explicit through brain image generations means that we need to employ in order to find the induction measure. And it's continued the technological framework, background, methodological aspects extension, right, in which we employ neural network to get the net signal generated, right? I mean, here someone may ask, what is actually the aim? To induce that particular human being we are trying. So we are not enforcing, right? We play the music. Let us get the idea whether the person is getting induced or not. If he or she, we get that particular information from the physical feedback, and then we check what's the behavioral aspect of MRI, from MRI and CT scan. So we make a tripartite combination so as to conclude something from training mechanism, so that at the time of testing we can choose appropriate type of model, right? So as to make music effectively used for therapeutic cause. Here is the data mining framework. Here are the music sample database, right? With respect to parameters and performance indicator, here is a measurement of effect on manual feedback. These forms, right? Our objective is to get some interesting patterns for sure. Now here are the parameters and performance indicators, very very vital, right? Although it's presented here very partially, right? Later on we'll find number of aspects. It's illustrative only and not the exhaustive thing, right? In terms of parameters and performance indicators through which we extract the feature, or we try to extract the feature. So as I was telling at the outset, right, measuring effect, MRI, CT scan, physical feedback, right, music sample analysis, and person's various background, right? All these things matters in order to make after or during training meaningful conclusion, right? Determination. So here are the feature extraction continued. Some key factors are detailed, like conventional scanning means at the time of testing whatever observations we found, we try to put them in a points, right? A brief detailing. Then we go for music pattern recognition. That is the extension work that we actually propose in this particular work, right? We discussed already about the model formulation problem, right? How digital image processing and digital signal processing, both DSP mainly, but sometimes we convert some, sound to image, right? And then analyze. Here is the solution process, right? And quite obviously, as we know that digital signals, right, and images, if, especially if we convert, we need to have DFTs, right, cosine transform, sine transform. So Fourier transform are very much used, right? As they're used, these are used in fractals and wavelets as well, because music is a continuous waves, right? So, and then here comes the machine intelligence framework. Whatever, we ultimately need to develop one production systems, right, based upon which the rule base and knowledge base, whatever association rule through the data mining we extract, right, ultimately we'll make use of them through, I mean, production systems on under the machine intelligence. So overall, it's typically machine intelligence work, artificial intelligence, right, under the framework of. And here are some more observations that we do music pattern recognition, because music pattern recognition have its own, needs and desires, leaps and bounds. References are also mentioned here. So here is the pictorial, diagrammatical presentation of the entire. Right, this is singer identification. Someone may say that in this extension, why do we need singer identification? Because not all human being is fond of not all type of singers. Like someone likes Michael Jackson, Ghorana, pop or etc. Someone have Bob Dylan, Bela Fate, some more melodious, right? Simon Garfunkel, some are mixed. So Celine Dion, Shakira. So that's choice, individual, right? So we need to understand, right? Singer identification is very crucial in order to make appropriate effect of the music, in order to restore its original state of vibration that we claim therapeutic cause, and this works with this I mean, pictorial representation. And here are some more singer verification, singer recognition system framework and procedures, right? Here's digital signal processing, how it plays a role. We illustrated our test cases, both for instrumental and vocal samples, right? Actually, we won't distinguish through. It's hard to distinguish through pictures, and there are mixed instruments. Even some our observations are some crucial instrument play some interesting roles, right? That's feature of pattern recognition, but that's what I mean. Right, and then come to magnetic resonance imaging. Here we integrate the entire work. This is perhaps the single slide by which we can find what exactly we are trying to do. So we are training through sample input sung, extension works obviously, feature-based creation through digital signal processing and digital image processing also, because sometimes we need to convert the signals to images, spectrum analysis and frequency distribution. These are something very common work. Then comes, the entire proposal is somewhat the way we packed is our proposal perhaps. Individual component wise the things are established, but the combination that we suggest here, right, it's already endorsed by Elsevier Science. Feature extraction through association rule using data and image mining, rule based, followed by disintegration of voice and organ, because any music sample, right, we need to typically in technological terms segregate calypso and karaoke, right? To be very explicit, right? Sorry, capello and karaoke. So then disintegration of voice and organ frequencies are required to create the knowledge base. Production systems, as I already have told, right, that will ultimately make the decision that whether this has impact or not. Music, because at the time of testing we have to choose the appropriate music for the appropriate person. That's the work of the entire system. So rigorous training and test mechanism, examining true rejection and false acceptance, these are vital. Sometimes some good mails go to mailbox, spam box, and some bad mails comes to, although it's exception because web intelligence is very strong. I am just illustrating here also the same thing may arise, right? We have to typically draw a line between true rejection, false acceptance, and the actual work. And here are some tools using which we have tested: Sonic Visualizer, AVC, GW426, right? We have presented our some observations and analysis here, right? Integrating tools are MATLAB mainly we have used, right? DSP toolbox. Competitive tools, music information retrieval toolbox is also made use of, right? And here are the various features in creation of knowledge base, how the knowledge base are to be formulated, right? Is presented here. And parameters, performance indicators, what we have taken: pitch, timbre, temporal characteristics, tonality, right, dynamic characteristics, all are there. Here is some data presented, sample data analysis, right, the observations, in terms of quantitative measures that we have found. And yeah, we have actually worked with Indian classical ragas. That is why here the sound type may not be very much well known throughout the globe. Thumri ghazals are all regional songs, because world of music is an ocean. So we started in a small scale through Indian musics, right, which have impact, for mental peace and minds. So that we used, right. Here the overall, only one illustrative table was presented earlier. Here the collective parameters or performance indicators that we employ at the time of extracting audio features: time domain, frequency domain, wavelet domain, image domain. Typically, we distinguish and cepstral domain. Right, so here are some magnetic resonance imaging issue on scanning brain model. Here are some scanned models that we used at the time of making this tripartite conclusion. And here we move to conclusion because I guess my time is over. Right, to keep track of music samples impact on human brain, that is the concluding remark. The recorded effect is measured in correspondence with the verbal feedback in a large population. We explained this. Some trends are analyzed using data mining concepts. These rules, through their tested acceptance, can be applied to various human beings with matching characteristics. Music has some greater significance than ever now. Music tunes the heart, controls the mind, said by making emotional adjustments. People used to have music even during their course of work to improve efficiency. Moreover, it is acceptable tool to relax and restore the sense of normalcy from mind exhaustion. Music is a universal language that influences human existence and beyond human, perhaps even to animals and plants. In therapeutic needs, outcome of this present work, we feel we claim is very vital. And with that, here are some few references, right? That is given. And with that, my presentation is over. Here are some multi verticals work that we are really initially a bit worried to take up this work, but then we thought that whatever progress we made, I mean, we'll get ideas, inputs from everyone. Here, I'm also requesting you to suggest few things if you can. We are open to it. There's me and my scholar Paramita, right? It's our PhD work, right? She perhaps didn't join due to timing, right? So because I started early. So with that, I conclude here, right? And expect some questions, comments, remarks session from you. Thank you.